Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Exploring Middle-earth. Now today, we'll be discussing Dain Ironfoot, one of the heroes of the Dwarven realm. So Dain's story starts with the Battle for Moria, and thus I think I should give you some background information about this. Now, the Battle for Moria was a fight between the Dwarves and the Orcs, and it started because Thorin's grandfather, Tror, had gone to Moria and the Orcs there killed him, and thus the Dwarves wanted revenge. Now during this battle, Dain's father was fighting Azog, who was the leader of the Orcs, but due to his rage, he ended up making a mistake and Azog snapped his neck. Now when Dain saw this, he obviously wanted revenge, and he rushed at Azog and slew him. This deed turned him into a legend for the Dwarves, as he was only 32 years when he killed Azog, and for the Dwarves this was barely adulthood, so he was seen as an incredibly promising fighter and leader. The Dwarves ended up being victorious, and Thorin's father, Dain II, wanted to enter Moria and reclaim it. However, Dain knew that they couldn't take Moria due to the Balrog, and he therefore advised Dain II not to try and reclaim it. Dain listened to him and they both returned home. In this case, Dain returned to the Iron Hills. The next time we see Dain is during the events of the Hobbit, after Smaug the dragon is slain and Thorin reclaims Erebor. At this point he is surrounded by the elves and men, and Thorin sends a message to Dain asking him for help. Dain then arrives with 500 Dwarven soldiers who are all incredibly armed, and he then takes part in the Battle of the Five Armies, which was between the wargs, dwarves, elves, men and goblins. During this battle, Thorin is slain, and thus Dain, being his closest relative, becomes the King of Erebor. Unlike his portrayal in the film, Dain is a very wise dwarf and fair dwarf, and he honoured Thorin's promises to both Bard, Bilbo and Thranduil. In fact, he gave 1/14 of all the dragon horde to Lakedown to help them repair, and he returned the Emeralds of Gwydion to King Thranduil. These kind acts helped bring a lot of peace to the surrounding area, and the Dwarves of Erebor had very good relations with the town of Dale and the Elves of Mirkwood. Under the rule of Dain, the Kingdom of Erebor was extremely prosperous, and it grew in strength. The next time we hear from Dain is during the Council of Elrond, when Dain sends Gimli and his father Gloin to the council. Here the dwarves inform the council that a messenger from Sauron came to the dwarven city of Erebor, and he asked them for information about hobbits and help to find the One Ring. In return, Sauron promised to return 3 of the dwarven rings of power to the dwarves. They were also told that if they don't help them, the dwarves will suffer and Sauron will come for them. Now Dain wasn't going to be blackmailed, and he basically ignored the messenger, and that's why he sent Gimli and Gloin to Rivendell to try and get some help from Elrond and to inform them of what's happening towards the east. In the meantime, Dain started to prepare Erebor for war because he was expecting an attack. Now during the War of the Ring, Erebor was actually attacked, and Dain took part in this fight. He, along with the men of Dale, tried to defend Dale and Erebor. However, the King of Dale, King Brand, was slain by orcs and Easterlings, and the last time we hear about Dain was that he rushed to his comrade's corpse, stood on it and fought off all the orcs nearby, and he slew many before they finally managed to kill him. Also, he was doing this at the age of 252, which is very old for a dwarf, and it really shows what incredible strength Dain had, that he was by far one of the greatest dwarfs that ever lived. So this wraps up the history of Dain Ironfoot. I'd just like to mention that compared to the films, the films don't do the book justice. I mean, the way they portrayed him, he was like an idiot, you know, he was just a battle-mongering dwarf, and it's nowhere close to what he really was in the books. So I would encourage you to check him out in the books, because it's a huge difference. They really don't do him justice. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. looking forward to making more videos such as these, so yeah, if you don't want to miss them, subscribe. Also, if you can, leave a like, cause it helps greatly, and yeah, thanks for watching and have a great day, guys.